All right, so you're a beauty professional. You're amazing at what you do, and you're thinking about moving to Kentucky. We're going to cut through all the confusion and give you a super clear roadmap for bringing your license and your career with you. Let's jump right in.
You've spent all this time building your skills, your clientele, you've earned that license, and then a big move comes up. And that one question can be really scary. What happens to my license? How do I keep working? It's a totally valid worry, and honestly, it can be a super stressful process.
And here's why it's so stressful. Every state does its own thing. There's no single national rule, so you're left trying to figure out this confusing patchwork of requirements. It feels like one wrong move could put your career on hold for months. But don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to clear up today.
Okay, first things first. Before you can get through the maze, you got to understand how it's built. So we're going to break down the basic rules of the road for how Kentucky looks at out-of-state licenses. This way, you'll know exactly what you're walking into.
Now, before we get into any of the nitty-gritty details, there is one core idea you absolutely have to get. It's the foundation for everything else. Kentucky doesn't really do reciprocity. Instead, they have what's called an equivalency rule. Understanding this one thing is going to save you a ton of headaches, I promise.
So let's bust a myth right now. A lot of people think reciprocity means you can just swap your license from one state for another, like trading a baseball card. In Kentucky, that's not how it works. The reality is equivalency. The Kentucky Board of Cosmetology, we'll call them the KBC, they actually evaluate you. They pull up your file and they compare the training hours you did against their own minimum standards.
And for all you cosmetologists out there, this is the magic number, 1,500. That's it, 1,500 hours. This is the benchmark that your original training is going to be measured against.
And this table really shows you why that matters. Look at this. If you're coming from huge states like California, New York, or Texas, they only require 1,000 hours. To Kentucky, that looks like a 500-hour deficit. Even Florida's short 300 hours. Now this looks like a huge roadblock, right? But there's a shortcut.
And here it is. This is the golden ticket for most experienced pros. If you have held a current active license for 2 years or more, Kentucky will most likely just waive that hour difference. Your real-world experience basically bridges that training gap, which means you probably won't have to go back to school. This waiver is a game changer.
Okay, so now you get the rules of the game. Let's turn that knowledge into a real action plan. We've talked about the what, so now we're going to get into the how, the actual step-by-step guide to get that Kentucky license in your hand.
But hold on, before we dive into the steps, I need you to focus on this, the certification of licensure. This is not a copy of your license, it's not your diploma, it's an official document that proves your license is in good standing, and, this is the crucial part, it has to be sent directly from your old state board to the Kentucky board. If you touch it, if you send it yourself, they will not accept it, period.
All right, here's your 4-step plan. Super simple. Step 1. Contact your current board and request that official certification be sent to the KBC. Step 2. Fill out and submit your out-of-state application to Kentucky. Step 3, and listen closely, wait for the KBC to evaluate everything. Don't you dare enroll in the school until they give you written confirmation that you actually have a deficit. And finally, Step 4, pass your exams.
Just to make sure this all goes smoothly, let's drill down on the top 3 mistakes people make. First, we just talked about it, sending that certification yourself, don't do it. It has to come from the board. Second, jumping the gun and paying for school you might not even need. Wait for that letter from KBC. And finally, just assuming the whole thing is automatic. It's not. Kentucky looks at every single applicant.
So, you get your application approved, and you're almost there. There's just one final step standing between you and working legally in Kentucky, the state board exam. Let's talk about how to conquer this final hurdle.
And honestly, Kentucky does something really cool here that makes the whole thing less intimidating. The exam is super accessible. It's not just in English. You can take it in Spanish, Vietnamese, Korean, simplified Chinese, or Portuguese. That's a huge deal for the incredibly diverse talent moving to the state.
And get this is some pretty recent game-changing news. Thanks to a new law, if you happen to fail a part of the exam, you can now retake it an unlimited number of times. This takes so much pressure off. It's a massive safety net that lets you focus on just doing your best without the fear of being locked out. So what score are you shooting for? It's a pretty straightforward 70%. That's the passing grade for both the written theory and the hands-on practical exams. It's a nice, clear target to aim for, whether you're a cosmetologist, esthetician, or nail tech.
Okay, so you have the full game plan to get your Kentucky license. But let's zoom out for a second, because getting licensed in Kentucky is quickly becoming a ticket to something way, way bigger. Let's talk about the future.
I want you to meet the Cosmetology Licensure Compact. Seriously, think of it like a driver's license, but for your cosmetology career. It's this agreement between a growing number of states that creates a single multi-state license. That means you can work in any member state without having to get a whole new license every single time.
And listen, this is not some far-off dream. This is happening right now. Kentucky got on board and passed the law in 2023. The whole thing officially activated this year, in 2024. And right now, they're building the system, with applications for these awesome multi-state licenses expected to open up in 2026.
Kentucky was one of the first to jump in, joining this quickly growing network of more than 10 states. And look who's in the club, neighbors like Tennessee and Ohio, and states all over the map like Colorado and Arizona. This means a license based in Kentucky is about to become more valuable and more portable than ever before.
So, as we wrap this up, that's the real question to think about. As all these old barriers start to come down, that Kentucky license you're working on could soon be your passport to practice across a whole network of states. It's not just about moving into Kentucky anymore, it's about what that license is going to empower you to do next.